Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit. Start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast, AEW edition. And I have to say, before we get this party started, is that we have the best intro / song in all
100%.
of wrestling podcasts. I'm not going to say we better than Busted Open and all. There's obviously they've been around a lot, but we have a better intro than any wrestling podcast out there. The rap, the opening, that is fire.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you're missing it. Watch us on YouTube or wherever you can catch us on, because that is amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. It gets me
it's
jacked.
the best. Yeah, it's the best one out there. And shout out to Rich Latta, the rapper extraordinaire who also does Marina Shafir's song in AEW. And apparently John Moxley's pushing heavily for her to come to New Japan and represent BCC. So we'll see. We'll see what. So maybe our boy's going to get some big play here recently. So let's. Yeah. So good stuff.
Interesting stuff. Well, we're here at AEW, and we already did our World's End review. We had a special guest that episode, but we already popped that in.
Yeah.
Now today.
Now, so.
All right. So no special guest today. But what we are going to do is that we're going to cover Dynamite. We're going to do our segment, and we're going to start off with some news. I think there's some things going on, very minimal this week, obviously, because we can talk about the new surprise. But I think you wanted to talk about things. And I didn't see the Dynamite ratings. I know we didn't have that in there, but I heard they weren't that great either. But I don't know why you're popping it up. Sorry, I always put right. Instead of just, we text before this and talk 20 minutes before this, but I always put him on the spot with his new microphone. So go in. What you want to throw out there, Ryan? What you want to throw out there?
So there's rumors swirling in the world of All Elite Wrestling that one Mercedes Mernado, aka Sasha Banks, she was supposed to sign with AEW or has signed with AEW, and she was rumored to be on Dynamite as early as this past Wednesday, January the 3rd. But obviously that did not happen. And then today, another report came out that said that Naomi, aka Trinity Fatu, of Impact Wrestling, is on her way back to the WWE, and now that's opening the door for a potential Sasha Banks and Naomi reunion in WWE as well. And maybe there's a guest appearance or a surprise appearance at the Royal Rumble coming up on January the 24th, I think it is, or January the 28th, end of January. So the dirt sheets, couple of dirt sheets are saying that she's already signed with AEW and she's, she should be debuting there imminently. And then other people are saying that she's probably going back to WWE. They're kind of doing the same thing they did with CM Punk, where they updated her bio on the WWE alumni page. They, if you search Mercedes Moné on Spotify and Apple, like for their theme songs, you can't. They've taken them all down. So that kind of leads people to think that maybe she is going back to WWE. But according to Sean Ross Sapp and several other people, she's expected to go to AEW, and she was supposed to debut on Wednesday, and she didn't. So that's opening the doors for a lot of questions right now.
I heard the Sean Ross Sapp. By the way, I always heard about this guy from, once again, I know no one believes me, but I don't read any of that. Now since I got on X, I see this guy pop up constantly.
Oh, he's everywhere.
Dude, he's like super douche of the world, is he not? He's a journalist. Everything he writes, he's like, "F you, dude. What the hell do you know?" I'm like, bro, you're a jerk. You're in this. Imagine Stephen A. Smith doing that, or I'm just so dumbfounded by wrestling. Sometimes, but not I don't know. Maybe I'm just blown away. I don't know if Meltzer does it too, because once again, I don't follow him. But Sean Ross Sapp comes up on my Twitter, because you don't have to follow people anymore. He's on it all the time, and he's just he literally F you, what do you know? You don't know anything, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, dude, grow up, man. It's Twitter. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
People say your information's false. Have thick skin. But I'm wondering, because I don't believe anything any of them say, even Sean Ross Sapp, because he's been right 4 out of 10 times, meaning that he's the most accurate. So how bad is that?
Right. Yeah.
But
exactly.
I wonder if it really is money or not, or if she just is, because you don't really know what's going on. But if it is money, and she'd rather go to AEW to make a couple extra bucks instead of going to where she's probably going to shine more. Because trust me, we're going to talk about it today. I know the women's division in AEW is a positive right now, and they're trying. But I feel like WWE is still way ahead of the game, even though their women's division is whack too, but it's still stronger. I would just feel like Sasha would rather go there, have more WrestleMania moments, do more of that. So I would be surprised if she really, because supposedly, you know, rumor has it that she wanted that Charlotte Flair money and she ain't getting it. And so she's like, then I'll leave, which is stupid too. Like, I'm all for aiming high and trying to shoot for it and get how much you can. But as soon as they go, we will give you Charlotte Flair, but we'll give you Becky Lynch, take it and, you know, move on with your life. So I don't understand aiming high and then only aiming high. Like, any job I go for, I go, this is how much I make at my current job, and this is what I'm expecting. And you go way higher than what you actually do, and hope you still higher than what you're at. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know where I would rather see her. I don't know if I want to see her back in WWE. You know, I imagine, you know, with Triple H apparently is a huge fan of hers. He pushed her heavily when he was doing NXT, and now then it was kind of Vince that she had the falling out with when she walked out of the company. But at the same time, the women's division is kind of crowded right now. You have Bayley on the up and up. You have you know, Bianca Belair still around, Jade Cargill's still around, Charlotte Flair when she comes back, Io Sky's doing her thing, Rhea Ripley, Lynch, you know.
Yep.
So where could Sasha Banks fit? Whereas in AEW, I feel like she's an instant main eventer, big time in AEW, and a big boost. Imagine the matches with her and Britt Baker, her and Jamie Hayter, her and Serena Deeb,
Timeless.
Yeah, and Toni Storm, Saraya, Ruby Soho. So yeah, I think it would be a huge get for AEW, but they have to use her right, and that's always the question mark with Tony Khan.
And don't forget their biggest draw, Riho. Her and Riho, that would be.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's like a WrestleMania moment.
Instant ratings, yeah.
Instant ratings.
All in.
I can't wait to talk about the other thing Tony Khan said after Dynamite with a certain wrestler. I'm so excited. All right, anything else? Well, oh yeah, let's get in the.
So the ratings, for this past episode. This was the first episode of 2024 for AEW Dynamite, and this episode garnered an average of 801,000 viewers on TBS, which is down from 5% from last week's 843. And the 18 to 49 demographic, which is kind of the target range that they like, was down 9% from last week. They had 337,000 viewers in that demographic, resulting in around 0.26 of rating. And last week it was a 0.31, so it's down 9%. So not a good start to the year for AEW, but again, I mean, that's still not bad. It's just that's kind of where I don't think they're ever going to get 1 million. I don't think they're ever going to get 2 million like the WWE's doing. I think this is kind of where they are, and this is where they'll probably stay around as long as they're on Warner Brothers Discovery. I think they could. If they lose the TV deal, I think, and they go to FX or they go to another network, I think they're going to go down even worse.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, so what do you think? I know do you contribute this to what I was talking about on our World's End preview, where Samoa Joe isn't that guy? Or maybe it's that they didn't show him and maybe people who did like him wanted to see him, and that the devil thing is stupid when your whole entire goal is to defeat one man and get back at him, and now that one man is no longer there. Is that contributing to it? Did the devil thing not? I mean, is that why it went down? Because I feel like after a big event like that, like a Mania Raw, the Raw we went to after Mania sucked. It got huge ratings though. People tune in because Mania was so banging and you want to see what's going to happen. Did people just not care? I mean, 800,000 is low. It's not awful. I think it's a fine rating, but it's low.
Yeah. I think the big thing for AEW is they need to advertise more. I don't ever see commercials for Dynamite unless I'm watching reruns of The Big Bang Theory on TBS. I never see I only see them on TNT. That's always on my recorded. Yeah. I never see commercials for AEW on any other channel that I'm watching that are owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't ever see billboards for AEW. I don't ever see just advertisements anywhere for AEW. And I think people just, if you're we said before, if you're a wrestling fan, you're going to know who they are. But if you're a casual viewer, you don't know who they are, because I don't know if they're not appealing to them or what, but they need to advertise. They need to advertise. And I think they could have advertised by talking, have a commercial right after World's End saying the reign is over. The longest reigning champion of AEW has ended. MJF, where is he going? What's next for the company as they move forward? Just something like WWE does. There's always a commercial for SmackDown. There's always a commercial for Monday Night Raw, even on channels that don't even advertise it. Or don't even air Monday Night Raw. I see commercials for it all the time. I see I see people when I watch FS1, they're like, when I'm watching football on Friday nights, they're like, hey, or on Sundays, they're like, hey, on Friday night, SmackDown will air right here on Fox. What's next for the Tribal Chief? TNT has the NBA, so why can't they, talk about some AEW wrestling or something, kind of do a partnership there? They've done, Rampage Slam and Slam Dunk Rampage before, so why can't they partner with the NBA and get some advertising there? So I think they need to do a better job there.
Agreed. And how'd their pay-per-view do?
It got 134,000 buys, which was higher than All In, or lower than All In, higher than All Out, which was the week after, and way higher than Wrestle Dream.
What did All In do? Do you know off the top of your head, or no? Sorry, I'm just wondering, because now, since I'm not really, all I pay attention to is really like UFC numbers, so that sounds extremely low because no one really does pay-per-views anymore. Boxing, UFC.
Yeah, All In had 175,000 buys.
So that's it. See, to me, that sounds low. Like, I feel like, I don't know in wrestling terms though. Like, I don't know though. I can't think of at the top of my head the last time. I mean, obviously wrestling never did the millions other than like Mania. Like UFC, Conor McGregor fights, it's 1 million plus views every single time. So I get it's different context, but I just feel like a bad UFC is like 300,000, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, 190 sounds low, but I don't know. It could be
good.
But
at the same time too, like we don't know what the WWE's buys are because they have WWE.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Again, AEW needs to evolve and get some sort of streaming service with whatever TV deal. If they're staying on Warner Brothers Discovery, get them on HBO Max. I think it'll do huge wonders for them. I think it'll help them significantly.
Well, how surprised are you that TNA got one before they did? Like what? Yeah. Like TNA has PLEs. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like before
TNA has PLEs. They have Endeavor partnering with them. They may have WWE working with them too. So there's all kinds of stuff going on with
WWE. And now you better watch out.
TNA is might become the number 2 promotion behind WWE ahead of AEW if AEW doesn't straighten up and fly right.
I'm gonna start watching them again. I pay for it every month. I just haven't been watching because it's too much wrestling, but maybe I should.
Yeah, it's good stuff from what I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, it is good. It is good. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Is that it? All right.
That's all I got. Go. Yeah.
This week in AEW, it's just Dynamite, y'all. It's just Dynamite. So we got some time to talk. All right. 60-second Dynamite recap or less. I don't know if I can do it, but we will do our best. It was a jam-packed show, and away we go. We opened up with Samoa Joe doing a pre-recorded promo from after World's End, being intense. He was so intense. Out comes Adam Cole and the newly named Undisputed Kingdom. He cuts a promo and states that they will be all covered in gold pretty soon, and MJF will never be back again. Bullet Club and the Acclaim come out for revenge. Orange Cassidy defeats Dante Martin, and Private Party returns. The House of Black is ready to hurt FTR. Hurt FTR. Mariah May defeats a queen, and we have the arrival of Deonna Purazzo, dressed like a pirate on prom night. You heard that right, friends. Christian Cage and crew come out, and Christian thanks everyone but Switchblade. Takeshita throws Darby Allin. Kill Switch. Sorry, not Switchblade. Kill Switch. Who's Switchblade?
Jay White. Yeah.
There you go. Kill Switch. All right. Look at his name. Hey, Christian got it wrong. I can get it wrong. Kill Switch.
Okay. I could chant. I could start a "You fucked up" chant, but
Dude, you have one already pre-done.
I
We
wish.
should do this
Yeah.
whenever we mess up. That would be a
you
lot.
fucked up. You fucked up. Yeah.
Takeshita throws Darby Allin around like he's not a living person and beats him. Next week, we'll get Darby and Sting versus Takeshita and Hobbs. I've been wanting them to lose again. Trent Beretta is next up for Eddie Kingston. And the show ends with Daniel Garcia losing yet again, this time to Swerve Strickland when Hangman comes out to continue the feud. Question mark? Not sure. We shall see. And that's the Dynamite. Way longer than 60 seconds because I effed up. Recap. I wrote this down way too scribbly. When I write things down, I'm like, make it clear, dude. Are you not going to be able to read it?
No.
Yeah.
It's all good. I actually thought, I know you have differing opinions on this, but I actually thought
we're going to have it.
This was the best Dynamite of 2024. But I thought this was a really solid episode of Dynamite. It wasn't perfect by any stretch, but I appreciate their efforts and I feel like they're trying. And, I could have done, I wish that Samoa Joe was there in person when you end the reign of the longest reigning champion in your company's history, probably the greatest world champion you'll ever have in MJF. You don't do a video package of Samoa Joe that he did right after the pay-per-view. I would have been fine with a backstage interview right there in the arena. I would have been fine with him coming out. I wanted him to come out and do a promo. It's just imagine if Cody Rhodes dethrones Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, or if he even faces Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But imagine he does, and Cody Rhodes doesn't cut a promo on Raw or SmackDown. He doesn't even show up. He's not there. You got to capitalize on the moment, and I didn't feel like they capitalized on the moment. But I actually dug the Undisputed Kingdom segment. I thought that was with Adam Cole and Wardlow and Roderick Strong and Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. I actually respect their reasons for doing what they did and wanting to be in AEW and going after all the championship gold. I appreciate their telling a story. I love that they went back to the Bullet Club gold with Jay White being the first one to. I was worried he was going to kind of just get ignored because he got attacked first by the Devil, and then he went right for the Continental Classic after losing to MJF, and they never really revisited it. I like that the Acclaimed came out. But yeah, there were some minor things that I didn't care for. I could have done without the Trent Beretta match. As great of a match as it was, I could have done without the Eliminator match. You could have used some of that time for a Samoa Joe promo. I could have, the kill switch segment was probably the best thing on the show the whole night. Christian Cage just continues to bring it week in and week out, and he knows how to get that heel heat. And then I'm not a fan of them revisiting Swerve and Hangman Page. I know that I appreciate their attempt at storytelling. Hangman Page, I want to rant about him for a second.
Let's hear it.
He's the worst guest in history of he showed up to the show with 30 minutes to go. He's back there with his bag. He's walking to he interrupts the interview with Renee Paquette and
Daddy Magic. Poor
Daddy Magic. Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna kick somebody's ass. I don't know who it's gonna be. If it's Adam Cole, I'm gonna go after somebody. I'm in the mood for a fight. And he walks with his luggage. I'm like, dude, you just got here. You missed the fight. He's the kind of guy that you got to tell him Thanksgiving starts at 7, or you got to tell him Thanksgiving starts at 4 when you're really planning. So he'll be there at 5 so you can eat at 6. He's the kind of guy that will be there so late because you want to be a part of the fight. Be there when the Acclaimed and the Bullet Club gold come out there and even things up then. I don't know. I'm not a fan of him revisiting the stuff with Swerve. But I actually thought for the most part, Dynamite was fairly solid. It was some minor hiccups here and there. But for the most part, I thought it was a solid attempt, and it's a step in the right direction for Dynamite.
Man, you covered everything. I love it. It gives us more time to dive into it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So you texted me, and I said this is going to make for our first podcast ever where we're actually going to probably debate and argue a little bit over what we thought was good and bad. But I'm going to sound like such a WWE mark because every time AEW does anything well, I'm still like, not good enough. This was what I told you. This was an extremely good effort. They put in a great effort, and they did everything to what they felt like it was right. and yet I still feel like it was a C show. And I think that's what really frustrates me, is that this is like their best effort, and it still didn't even do better than The Rock coming out and saying, I want to eat dinner at the head of the table. That like beat this entire episode, that one line. It just shows how far apart these two companies are. Here, once again, you already covered the Samoa Joe thing. He comes out and he says this thing in a it was intense. It was great. I like that Samoa Joe. That's a Samoa Joe we need. But like you said, really, you're beating the Roman Reigns at AEW, and you're you can't get a segment like TK. Like you couldn't. You had to have Takeshita throw around Darby Allin for 25 minutes, like he's a freaking crash test dummy. But you couldn't have that cut in half a little bit. Once again, we'll get into New Year's resolutions. But I want to talk. The biggest disappointment was your one that you liked, and that was Adam Cole. And I texted you this. I probably made you crap your pants, but I'm an Adam Cole fan. I've loved Adam Cole since day one. But that was his worst promo ever. I thought he delivered it poorly. I thought what he talked about was stupid. I was trying to pull up things while you were talking about what his like reasonings, like, well, MJF was going to do it to me first, so I did it to him. Where he was? Because I remember the last time I saw MJF, he was literally crying, please don't hit him, hit me. So I don't know how much that, just all of his things are just kind of like, well, he's mean to everybody in the back. Why are you guys booing me? They are like, there just was nothing true to it. Not like, he hit on Britt Baker one time. He freaking like, maybe I just never liked MJF this entire time, and all I wanted was a championship, but you couldn't do that because you're giving away who he was before he could even wrestle. I don't know. He seems like an idiot too, coming out in crutches. I'm just not feeling that. But when he comes out, for one, I love the Undisputed Era. I did. I really, really did. Probably one of the best action ever in NXT. I would even give it top 5, maybe all time in WWE, maybe the brink of 5. It was a great faction. But bro, let go of the name. Undisputed Elite, Undisputed King. What's Wardlow? You couldn't include him. You couldn't be the Undisputed King Low. Like you couldn't just combine all.
I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, it's like I was like the Undisputed King. That thing came on the screen and people were like silent. That was like an embarrassing. He said that name and people didn't they boo? I don't know. It was an awful name. So all right, there they all look stupid dressed in black with their take the damn devil stuff off. We know who you are. Get some real outfits now. Maybe some gear that doesn't look sloppy on you guys. It was all just bad, and I didn't like that he just all of a sudden was like, Roderick Strong's going to get the one belt. These dudes already have the other belts. And you know what, Wardlow? We respect you, bro. So you know what we're going to do? Treat you just like MJF did. You're going to win that belt and then give it to me, baby. And Wardlow already had the smirk of, well, I'm turning on you guys. Like, what in the... I just thought it was all a miss. I thought it was an awful first impression. I didn't like any of it. Like, honestly, and I like... am awful. I got my Roderick Strong going on right now. Like I just didn't, I just did not, I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it. And then you like the Jay White thing. I get that. But once again, it is so weird that AEW gives no rats about heels and baby faces. Jay White came out and they kind of cheered, but then they all started fighting and the guns came out and then people are like, what, who do I cheer for? Or boo? It's all bad guys fighting each other and they got their butts whipped. And then the Acclaim comes out and runs them out. So now the first time we see the Undisputed Kingdom, they get ran off like a bunch of punks. So now, so they can only beat people up from behind. I thought this was a huge miss, and I don't really see the Bullet Club and the Acclaim skipping around. And so is this now, are they just going to walk through the back and everyone's going to beat them up and fight them? Is that what the Undisputed Kingdom? I have no, like, where's, once again, like I said, you open up hot, you got Samoa Joe, but you missed. You had him backstage cutting a promo from 8 days ago. Then you have United Kingdom come out and they have the worst name ever, and the Undisputed Kingdom, and they have the worst name ever. And then there's another reason why I shouldn't do that. And then you have them just look like punks and cut a stupid promo on why they beat up MJF. And then as soon as he said MJF is dead, he's never coming back, the crowd was like, then you can literally hear the arena gets like, then what's the point if we don't and don't tease it, don't take him off everywhere, because then people are really going to think he's not coming back when everyone knows he's signed with AEW. So if you don't think he's going to come back, then no one ever thinks you're going to get your comeuppance anyway. So it's like, and he opened up with saying, oh, the whole time all I wanted to do is take everything away from him. He didn't even do anything. Samoa Joe beat him on his own.
Yeah.
So what did you do, Adam Cole? What did you guys do to defeat him? It was all, I'm sorry. It was just a huge flippant. I didn't like any of it. Any of that
Yeah.
beginning part. We can get into more. You can, if you want to go at me, go at me. We can have a
Yeah,
friendly
no,
banter. I'm okay with it. But where am I wrong? Like, tell me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I missed something. I don't want to sound like a
yeah.
complete WWE mark.
So I
just
liked it for a couple of reasons. Number one,
Mhm.
I don't like when I feel like Tony Khan. There's a couple of things I didn't like. I'll do those first. I didn't
Okay.
like that they were on the show one time. I feel like you have a new dominant faction.
point.
They should have been on the show throughout. You just said Roderick Strong is going to go after the international championship. Your very next segment was Orange Cassidy defending the international championship against Dante Martin. So why not have your boys watching at ringside, or have Roderick set up a future match between Roderick Strong?
Beat him down after. Yeah.
Do something. Yeah. Like, really assert your dominance in the show. And then, so I didn't like that they were on the show one time. I also don't like when I feel like Tony Khan does this a lot. He did this with Better Than You, Bebe, and he did it with Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. You had a team of, guys that didn't really get along, that were then became best friends, and they were forced to tag team with each other, and then they became friends, and then one of them was going to turn on the other one. And that happened with Sammy Guevara turning on Jericho, and we all know how that panned out. They're back together now, but now they're doing that. They're doing that same exact thing with Wardlow. That Christian Cage is doing with Killswitch, where we all know that Killswitch is eventually going to turn on Christian Cage, and Christian Cage basically did Luchasaurus Killswitch. He had the TNT title match, he had the TNT title opportunity that he won, and he basically made Luchasaurus give it to Christian Cage in the middle of he signed a contract right after the match, and then he won the TNT championship back. I feel like they're going to do the same thing with Wardlow. Now, what I will say is, if they build it right and they give him time and they get this group some massive heat, I feel like maybe it could rebuild Wardlow back into that dominant person that he was when he turned on MJF the first time. And so when he does climb up the ranks and finally get that world title match, and he turns on Adam Cole, he becomes the biggest babyface in the company, and maybe that sets up a reunion in the future between MJF and Wardlow to realize, hey, maybe we weren't so bad. Maybe things were better when we were together, and now they're two baby faces when MJF's ready to come back. So I did like, I like that. If I just don't want them to do Wardlow versus Samoa Joe at Revolution. It's way too soon for him to get a title match. I want them to kind of build it up a little bit.
Well, they're not going to. Before you thought they literally said, as soon as he builds up the ranks, what bad guy faction comes out and says, our guys are going to build up from the bottom, and as soon as they get there, they're going to get their title shot. That was another stupid. All right, continue. I'm sorry.
So I kind of like the Adam Cole, though, that the little weasel that he's not doing anything. He's kind of that that little the devilish heel that doesn't have to get his hands dirty. Everyone else is doing his dirty work for him, and he's sitting over there on crutches. He's sitting over there hiding behind the medical staff as people are trying to go after him. I thought that was a nice touch. I thought because he's not cleared, you can't touch him, and so I feel like he's going to play that up to his advantage whenever he can. He's going to hit people with his crutch, and then when they try to strike back, well, you can't touch him, he's cleared, and I'm sure that's going to come in to play a role in it as well. So there were parts of it I didn't like, but there was I dug a lot of it. I think if they do this group right, and we'll see what happens on Collision tomorrow night, we'll see what happens on Dynamite next week. But if they do this group right, they may have something special. Another dominant faction. I do think that Roderick Strong needs to drop the Adam, that annoying thing, and just be the
serious.
Be like the Shield, be like the Bloodline, be like the Judgment Day, minus the R-Truth stuff. Like before all that, like be serious, be out there. Say you're gonna run AEW, you're gonna take over Collision, you're gonna take over Rampage, you're gonna take over Dynamite. Have Britt Baker come back and be a part of this group, and have her take care of the women's division. If they do it right, I have high hopes for it. So so we'll see what the future has in store for this group.
So I go with you there. Once again, like I said, everything about this episode I liked. This was their best effort. It just, I feel like everything missed. But that, once again, to each its own, right? Some people like watching 30-minute matches and no
Yeah.
story, and some people don't. So, I want story. And I felt like everything you just said right now about taking over is what he should have said. And instead, he didn't say any of that. And that's the problem. And MJF not, being kayfabe hurt and going to do his, I know he has injuries. I don't think he's hurt enough that he can't wrestle. I think him taking his break is hurting it as well, because the whole point is when you get that,
well, now there's
who it is,
yeah.
what's that?
Now there's new rumors about MJF's injury, is that this is from Meltzer, so take it with a grain of salt, but he said that if MJF's going to try, he has a torn labrum, and he is trying to work through.
So it's a real, okay.
Yeah, so he's going to try to go through rehab, and work through rehab that way. But if he has to have surgery, he'll be out for up to a year. So if that's a huge blow for him, for the AEW, if he's not there for a year. So
that might be all he's signed for. He might be gone by the time.
So maybe Adam Cole was onto something. Yeah. But again, that's Meltzer. And, if he can work through the rehab and not have to go through surgery, then maybe we'll see him back sooner rather than later. But 9 times out of 10, I think people usually opt for the surgery. Just because you can always
let's talk about
it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's talk about something hot, because you were talking about if he does this right, TK, this faction could be huge, and I agree. And I think Britt Baker needs to be a part of it. And she's been writing on Twitter, once again, talking about all her disgruntledness. So it seems like she is. Another thing is the women's division. This is kicking into gear. It looks like they're putting everything in place. They gave them a lot of matches that you pointed out at World's End. They give it a lot of attention tonight on Dynamite. I did like that Dynamite, like the first hour was all like kind of storyline based, and the second hour was kind of wrestling based. I'm okay with that, as long as we're pushing. So I think we need to push stories throughout the whole show, but I did like that. But, we had Mariah May have a fantastic match. We had a lot of stuff with the Timeless one, and other, like you said, Serena Deeb's coming back. We're getting the push, and they signed Deonna Purazzo, who's supposed to be a stud. I've seen her wrestle a few times. I'm not like I said, I've watched TNA here and there, so I've seen her matches. I know she's got the goods. I'm going to tell you this, though. I know I made the joke about a pirate on prom night. First impression, you got to remember, for most AEW fans probably watch TNA. They're usually the hardcores, right? They watch it all. But still, this was your first time seeing her, where you wouldn't no one went like, hey, girl, let's get like a different outfit on you. Not like a big poofy like prom dress from like the 1980s. I don't know. But supposedly she's hot stuff, and she's coming. Even if we don't get Sasha Banks in AEW, I think they have enough talent right now to do some stuff, and it looks like TK is putting the focus on there. So you want to talk about potential? I mean, he's talking about it. Now let's do it, right? Let's do it, because this women's division can blow.
Yeah, I think if they, again, it all depends on how they're used, but this women's division may be able to, with the talent that they have, might be able to go toe to toe with WWE in terms of.
Oh, I agree.
In terms of women and the talent and the wrestling ability. I mean, Britt Baker's up there. You have Anna Jay. You have Jamie Hayter. You have Serena
Julia Hart.
Yeah, Julia Hart's doing her thing.
Sky
Willow
Blue,
Nightingale, Sky Blue. Yeah,
Willow. Whew.
Yeah, Chris Statlander.
Britt Baker. You got literally. Mm-hmm.
So, and apparently on Rampage tonight, they had, for an hour show, they had 3 women's matches.
Look at that. Applause.
2 women's matches.
Still probably 2 out of 4 matches.
Yeah, Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, and Sheeta versus Anna Jay. So
I like it.
Yeah, so they're doing things. I think they're doing things the right way. I didn't like I'm excited about the signing of Deonna Purazzo. I think like you guys, she's fantastic. I watched her in Impact whenever I did watch Impact, and she had an incredible feud and an incredible program with Mickie James, and I thought it was fantastic. And she's been a Ring of Honor Women's Champion in the past, and the girl can go.
She was in NXT. I remember seeing her in NXT.
Yeah, she was there for like 15 minutes. I think
she was in a May class. I remember seeing her somewhere for a while.
Yeah. She was only there for a short time. I don't think Vince saw anything in her. And then she went to Impact and just really blew up because Vince was out of touch. But yeah, I'm excited about her. I think I didn't care for the way she debuted. I don't like it. My problem with the way she debuted was this was supposed to be Mariah May's big moment. Mariah May is another talented woman on the women's roster who is, kind of being like the Mizdow of WWE, where she's kind of copying and doing everything like Toni Storm to try to.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm digging it. And she makes her in-ring debut. She kind of reminds me a lot of Tiffany Stratton in NXT with her look and everything. And she's so talented and she's good. And she won her first match, which is great. And then out comes Deonna Purazzo, and it just kind of, I don't know. To me, it kind of ruined her moment. Even though Deonna's from New Jersey, and that's why she came out, and because Mariah May was bad-mouthing New Jersey. But apparently after Dynamite, or on one of the Dynamite exclusives, Mariah May was talking about Deonna Purazzo's debut, and she was like, she's wearing Uggs with she was talking about her wearing Uggs, and then she was saying that she looks like she was running for governor in the state of New Jersey. So
see?
Yeah, she had some good
she got it.
Yeah, she had some funny lines, and I want them to push Mariah May a little bit more. But yeah, I'm excited about the Deonna Purazzo arrival. I think it's going to boost that women's division even more. I just didn't care for the way she debuted.
Well, and remember, in the past like 3 years, the only women's division that has been good has been Impacts or TNAs, and she's a big reason for that. So, and then Naomi came over, and she's been killing it as well. So they have been the most focused, best women's division. So she's coming from something good. I want to just briefly talk about Darby Allin. Can we talk about Darby Allin for a second?
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for Darby Allin. I like him. I do. But he's really, really starting to give me some like Spike Dudley vibes. You remember Spike Dudley?
Oh, yeah.
He was just like basically just like
a human crash dummy. Yeah.
That's all he was. And I feel like the last few matches I've watched at Darby, he ain't getting wins anymore. He's not really getting in much offense. He's really just getting thrown around, and it's really bothering me. I watch these matches and I get upset. I don't even enjoy them. Like, everyone was talking about how this match was so fire. What was fire about it? They were literally throwing this guy around like he was a rag, like he was, like I said, not a human being. Like, it was just like, and I feel like he's not landing properly. I feel like he just thinks his body's untouchable, because it is at the moment. But
it's going to catch
why
up
is nobody 100 and quickly? Why is nobody in the back telling him like, hey, cut it off? Like, we're done. Like, you can't. And I know everyone's going to be like, well, Mick Foley, this, yeah. People told Mick Foley to stop. Eric Bischoff fired him for that. Other people eventually told him, and what happened to him, right? So, I mean, look at Mick Foley now. Like, you have to. TK, like a wrestler, Sting, nobody's sitting with this guy saying like, hey, dude, I get it, but every match isn't an ECW pay-per-view match. Like, you have to like pull. Like, did you watch that match?
Yeah.
And I'm not crapping on Takeshita. It was a fun match, yes, but what was like so great? Like, it was literally, how much offense did Darby get in? 10% of the 100% of offense was his. Like, he literally just got thrown and thrown. I don't think Takeshita cared about off the top rope with the what was it, the power drive off the top, the suplex off the top. It felt like he had no, like, Darby was just like, yo, you do your thing. If I die, I die. And I feel like that's what Darby Allin's thing is right now. And I know we've been talking about this for a while, but he's a pretty talented dude and he's really young. Let's save this guy and make him more of a Jeff Hardy career minus the drugs, and not a Mick Foley career where it's going to end short and Mick can't continue to, Darby's will be way shorter because he's way younger than Mick Foley was when he got into the game. I mean, am I missing something? I just wanted to touch that out there because I like him and I want him, and he can bring it and he can be something, but holy cow, man, like, let's care about him a little bit, just a little bit. Sometimes you got to tell somebody for their own good, right? It happens all the time. Boxers get too old, MMA guys, NFL players. It's like, you don't have it anymore, man. Like, maybe let's not have you continue to do this. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Darby Allin piece. He needs to slow it down. He's going to kill himself or kill somebody in that ring if he's not careful. And I'm surprised he hasn't been injured already. I don't know how
that's the biggest problem though.
How he keeps bouncing back every week with. He was doing crazy spots in the match at World's End, and then on Wednesday he's doing crazy spots. And so I will say, I dug the Takeshita stuff
because it made him look like a monster.
Yeah, I
agree.
Again, Tony Khan. I mean, Takeshita beat Kenny Omega, one of your talking about one of your great world champions of all time. Kenny Omega is probably one of the greatest AEW world champions of all time, maybe second greatest behind MJF. And he's one of the best wrestlers in the world whenever he's healthy. And he beat Kenny Omega twice. And when he beat Kenny Omega, then he kind of fizzled out a little bit with the Don Callis family. The Don Callis family started really just, doing these tag team matches with Powerhouse Hobbs, and they were losing all the time, and they kind of lost their luster. And now Takeshita is, he's back to being that dominant force. And so I like the fact that Don Callis is his mouthpiece. I like the fact that they're going after Sting next week. You're 25-0. You're going to be 25-1. So, there was a time where Don Callis was one of the biggest heels in wrestling, and he was generating massive heel heat, probably up there with Dirty Dom and Christian Cage. And now, over the last few weeks, he's kind of fizzled out. He hasn't gotten that same reaction. But now I think with Takeshita doing his thing, and if they can build Powerhouse Hobbs up correctly, maybe these guys can be a factor in the tag division and start getting some more heel heat. But I really like what they did with Takeshita on Friday night or Wednesday night.
I like building him to be a monster because he should be, and Takeshita's money. Yeah. I'm just saying that you could have done it without not giving
without sacrificing Darby life.
That's all I'm saying. Like, you can still do it, and he's still gonna wrestle Darby. I just feel like somebody needs to tell Darby, hey, stop. Stop. Or we'll fine you or sit you on the bench if you're gonna do it when we tell you not to. You know what I mean? We'll give you time out, like something. But all right, let's close out with this main event. Obviously Swerve Strickland beat Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia is losing constantly. I thought it was super ironic. How do you feel about TK coming out before Daniel Garcia hits the backstage and tells the entire arena that you're going to see a lot of him in 2020? That's like you like girlfriend or wife to breaking up with you or divorcing you, but then as you're like signing the paper, she's like, don't worry, ladies, this man is the best. He's awesome. You should marry him. He is fantastic. Like, how are you going to job this guy out every single match and then stop him to praise him? I felt like if I was Daniel Garcia, I would have given him a middle finger. But like, bro, get that out of my face.
He kind of did. He was just like, thank you, and just walked out.
Yeah, like what he
didn't know what to
everybody
say.
Like, welcome to the guy who never wins, but he's going to be here for a long time, guys. Like, Daniel Garcia is such a talented guy, and why are you feeding him to everybody? Which I was really mad about. But once again, we already talked about Strickland and Hangman. Sign me out. I'm not above it. I'm not about it. I thought they should have wrestled as Keith Lee's replacement, but in any combat sport, after you beat somebody twice, you don't get a third match. It's just not how life works. Yeah. And their last match is supposed to be it. That was like the death match, and it ended so perfectly. It's like Ric Flair wrestling again after the Shawn Michaels match. Like, you have a perfect ending, don't do it anymore. Just my quick take.
I completely agree with this. I'm not a fan of this, and I appreciate them again going back to doing some long-term storytelling, and we can't forget that Swerve Strickland broke into Hangman Page's house and was talking to his child, and you're any chance you get, that's as being two fathers here, like if anybody did that to us, we would have that same amount of anger anytime that person's on the screen. So I do appreciate them doing that and kind of going back to that, but I don't want them to have a match. It made no sense that, Adam Page cut that promo interrupting Daddy Magic saying, I'm going to kick the ass of, I don't care if it's Adam Cole. I don't care if it's Samoa Joe. I don't care if it's this person. I don't care who it is. And then he goes and beats up Swerve Strickland, who's not even involved with A, Samoa Joe, or B. Now Swerve did say he wants championship gold and he might be coming after Samoa Joe, but why didn't he go after Adam Cole? Adam Cole's the reason that he was out of action all that time anyway. I mean, you had the Acclaimed go after Adam Cole and his group. You had the Bullet Club go after Adam Cole and his group. Why not have Adam Page join them? And also, I think that would have been a good time too to end the show with, hey, here comes Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom to come out and join the fray. That they join the fracas of Swerve and Hangman, and Swerve and Hangman are going at it. Here comes the Acclaimed, and that Dynamite that ended the Tuesday Night Wars where everybody was fighting. This was a perfect time to end with everybody just fighting and brawling. Swerve and Hangman, Swerve and the Acclaimed and the Bullet Club and the Undisputed Kingdom, and just everybody fighting. I think that would have been the better way to end it. But I'm not a fan of. I appreciate them trying to revisit the long-term storytelling and the history of the Swerve Strickland Adam Page match, but don't say I'm going to go after Samoa Joe and Adam Cole and then go after Swerve Strickland. I didn't care for that at all.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I was so confused by that. He literally just said he was going to attack the Devil Crew and all them, and then he went after Swerve. I was lost.
But I'm in the mood for a fight. Yeah.
Like, huh? Like, I don't know. I thought it was dumb, and that they should be done. But all right, that was AEW. So once again, Ryan loved it. He thought he dug it. He likes her. I like where they're going. I just really lose hope that when they can bring a show like that and it's not where it needs to be. But for this one moment, it's trending in the right direction. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it all running.
They've
Let's
got some positive.
Let's keep pushing the women's.
Right
the stories, the factions. You know, you still got Edge coming back, Adam Copeland eventually. I mean, let's just
he's on. He's going to be on the Collision tomorrow night. He's going to be on the first Collision of 2024.
There you go. Let's make Samoa Joe a beast. A beast.
I will say.
You're going to give him the title. Make him a beast. Yeah.
I will say too that this episode of Dynamite kind of reminded me of the older Dynamites. I think that's why I liked it so much. Mm-hmm. It didn't rely so heavily on, I know all these guys were in Japan, but it didn't rely so heavily on Bryan Danielson. It didn't rely so heavily on Jon Moxley. It didn't rely so heavily on, all these guys, the Blackpool Combat Club, having their match every 15 minutes. And, again, I know they were all in Japan, but yeah, I thought it was a good way to ring in the new year, kind of with some new stars in AEW.
Maybe they should stay in Japan, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another topic for another day.
All right. Let's get into our segment. You ready?
Yeah, always.
All right. We're doing some New Year's resolutions. We're going to do this now. We're going to do it tomorrow for our WWE show, where we're going to say some things that we are hoping that AEW would do better for the new year, right? We're all doing New Year's resolutions. So we want AEW to do some. I cannot believe a year, just so you know, I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. Bail me out, mommy, I won't make it in July. I can't believe
that was a year ago.
That was Christmas a year ago. I cannot believe it's been that long. It's crazy how fast time goes. But all right, let's get out to as many as we can and end this show. What you got? What's your first New Year's resolution? Or do you want to just do them all? What do you just want to do them all? Just what do you got?
Yeah, I'll do a couple. So I have three. I know I just sang his praises, and I think he did a good job with this show. But I think Tony Khan needs to step aside as head of creative in AEW and bring some people on that know how to write a weekly episodic television show. Bring on a Freddie Prinze Jr. who knows wrestling. Bring on, Brian Gerwitz, who was, one of the writers on Young Rock and was a former writer in WWE before. Bring on somebody who knows how to write for TV, but also knows professional wrestling. And, so I think Tony Khan is doing a little too much. And in a way, he's kind of becoming what he didn't want, what everyone was hating the WWE for becoming. He's becoming that billionaire that makes all the decisions. And if he gets bored with something, he kills it. If he likes something, he runs with it. If we think something's stupid and he likes it, we're going to go with it. So I want him to just really write the checks and hire like a creative team that can really help take this company to the next level. So that's one. My other one for them is you got to get a streaming service in 2024. I didn't shell out any money for AEW's pay-per-views in 2023. I'm not going to shell out any money to order them in 2024 if they're not on a streaming service. Whether it's whatever it is they're on. If they're on Max, if they stay with Warner Brothers Discovery, that's good, and they can go on HBO Max. I think that's probably the best spot for them. I think they could go if they go on Fox Sports Plus. If they go on FX. Okay, they can go on that, whatever, Amazon, whatever, whoever wants them, you got to get them on TV. You got to get them on a streaming service. So, and don't rely so heavily on pay-per-view buys.
I agree.
And then, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but you got to push the women's division. And they're starting to do that a little bit right now. You got to push the women because the women, and I've said this, I put this on our Twitter account or at 2DudesPC, but I think they should cancel Rampage and just completely rebrand it and make it a women's only show.
I love that idea.
And put the, you want to be the alternative to WWE, then what does WWE not have? They don't have a women's show. So go out there and show how you're different and have a women's only show and put the TBS championship, defend it regularly on there. You can still have the women on Dynamite and Collision, in the main stories, but really build your women's division by putting them on an hour every Friday night on the newly rebranded Rampage. That's what I would do. That's what I hope that they do to really help push their women's division.
All right. Well, you get 3 out of my 6. I love it. I love it. And the
Nice.
Booker thing for realsies. I don't even care. Bring Eric Bischoff in for crying out loud. I know they hate each other, but whatever. Business talks. Bring in anybody that knows. Bring in Vince Russo for crying out
I'll take
loud.
Vince Russo back.
If you have somebody controlling Vince Russo, he might do okay. Like, just don't give him free damn range like he did in WCW. It's just insane to me that he won't hire a booker. Like, that's just anyway.
Yeah.
But I one thing I want to really focus on is less wrestling and way more storytelling. I'm not saying you don't have to have the good matches, but every match doesn't have to go 20 minutes.
No,
it takes away from being able to tell a good story. You need a little bit of story. You need a little bit of in between. There's never breaks. Just match, 20, 20, 20. Do a little bit less of that. Give everybody 15 minutes. If you give everyone 15, that's a long match in WWE. That's when you have Seth and Drew go for 15. That's a 5-star match. Give them 15 minutes. If you take away that out of 10 matches, that's a whole hour of time. You can just give 5 minutes and take away and let them have their thing. To tell more stories and for everybody. Focus on your B stories and your A stories and your C. Focus on all of them. You don't just have to focus on the A. We don't just need the devil. Let's have other people spreading their stories and getting things going on. And stop repeating. They're starting to get on the WWE thing where it's like, why are we still having Don Callis and Christian, Sting and Darby now because of Christian? It's all like the same people feuding. Let's like spread the love around. I got to say, less blood, right? We need less blood. I'm over the blood. Let's have less blood 2024, right? Let's focus on just old school wrestling, and we don't always need to cut each other up. Let's save the cutting up for the pay-per-views, guys.
Matches.
Yeah, we don't need them all the time. We don't need Jon Moxley bleeding every week on Dynamite. I don't know if this is even possible, but less belts. And I think the number one way we can do less belts is by less mixed matches. Meaning, let's just have AEW on AEW. If you want ROH, then build ROH brand and advertise it on AEW. But we don't have to have them wrestling the main event on Rampage. We don't need New Japan Wrestling main eventing Rampage. We don't need AAA main eventing a Collision. We just need AEW matches, less belts. I feel like everybody and their mom has a damn belt. Eddie Kingston has 3 belts for crying out loud. Like everybody has. Like everybody has belts. So my New Year's resolutions, that's about it. Like other than the 3 you had, less mixing around. Just focus on your main product, TK. Focus not on belts. Focus on the actual wrestlers. Belts don't make anybody at all. The only people belts have ever made are John Cena and Charlotte Flair. Other than that, belts don't make nobody. The wrestler makes the belt. Seth Rollins has made that belt. Brock Lesnar made the belt. Roman Reigns has made that belt. The belt hasn't made them. Belts don't make if you're good enough. And I know everyone's going to be like, well, John Cena and Charlotte Flair are the best. Yeah, because the belts made them the best because all they do is have belts. So you don't want to rely on that. Rely on the actual skilled, talented wrestler and their abilities in the ring and on the mics, their personalities, not the belts. So like Eddie Kingston right now, I feel like they had nothing to do with let's put 3 belts on him. Now he's important. He really didn't feel important on Dynamite, but that's just me. And his first match was a banger.
Look at Orange Cassidy. When he was the international champion. He made that belt and he defended it regularly. And then when he lost it, it was such a huge moment in AEW that, he was somebody that made that belt. And I completely agree. I think they gotta do less belts. And I think you got to push, I don't want to sound like that fickle wrestling fan, but push your guys, push the Orange Cassidy, push the, I'm okay with Adam Cole getting a push. I'm okay with Swerve Strickland getting a push, even though they're ex-WWE people. But, let's focus less on the Brian. I know Bryan Danielson's career is winding down, but let's focus less on and I hate to say that because he's one of my favorites, but let's focus more on the Daniel Garcias. Let's focus more on the Wheeler Yutas. Let's focus more on the Claudios, and let's focus more on the Powerhouse Hobbs and the Wardlows, and let's focus more on the Miros of the world, and and less of the BCC, and less factions and less groups, and so I want them to push their people a little bit more, and come find a star. I mean, if MJF's out for a year, that's going to be trouble for AEW. They need another MJF to come in, and they could have one there. We don't know because they too reliant on the ex-WWE people. So,
and the sad part is when you think about it, who would be next? Adam Cole, Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, Samoa Joe currently. There's really you're not thinking Wardlow. You're not thinking Garcia.
Not right now.
You're not. You're only thinking of ex WWE or ex outside people. And I know people are going to say, well, yeah, but they've been, obviously they're going to come out from well, no, they have a whole bunch of homebred people. Why not push them? And I know people say that's stupid too. Well, it doesn't matter. They're AEW guys now, so get over it. Yes, I get that. But why not? We were saying that about WWE forever. All you care about is the Rocks and the Stone Colds and all these old Triple H's, all these old guys always coming back and taking over, and the CM Punks never got props, and the Jeff Hardys, and always said that. So that's all we're saying. The same exact thing. I used to complain about it in WWE. I'm complaining about it now in AEW. Give the young people a chance.
And I will give them credit because, you know, you look at Swerve Strickland. Who was he in WWE? Now
I don't count him as that. Yeah. And I see him as an AEW guy, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I do too. And so I'm okay with Swerve getting all the love and the push and he deserves it. But yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think I think they're working that way. And I just want them to continue because it looks like their guy Killswitch, Luchasaurus, he's an AEW original. He's been there since day one. He's probably going to turn on Christian Cage, and Christian's probably going to put him over in a big way. And then you look at Wardlow, and if and when he wins the world title, when he does and he forfeits, if he doesn't forfeit that belt and he turns on Adam Cole, I think that's going to be huge for him. So I think if they do this right, they can push some new guys. It's just I'm glad that they're pushing their people as well.
They're just both of those situations are very similar.
Yeah, no, that's my problem. Yeah,
Killswitch is looking just like what Wardlow did with MJF, and Wardlow's looking just like what he did to MJF. So as long as we're not like continuing the trend, like we're doing like the MJF thing, where for like his first 5 times he was making people earn it by going through the same gauntlet type of things to get to him. Like you can have the same vibe and have the same turns without doing it exactly the same. So let's still. Keep it original. Keep it original.
And then let's focus less on what WWE's doing. So stop tweeting, TK.
Yep.
So let's
please.
Just who cares if WWE has, if WWE has to move NXT to Wednesday night because of something going on in the sports world, or if you have to move, Dynamite to Tuesday night to compete with NXT. Remember, NXT's moving to mainstream TV. They're moving to the CW in 2024, so they're going to be on every channel in the world, in the country. So they're probably going to be seen by more people, but who cares? The Tuesday Night Wars, that was all perpetrated by AEW. Oh, well, they're doing this, so we got to do this, and they're doing this, so we got to do that. Like, just go out there and just do your thing, and don't worry about what they're doing, especially if you want to be the alternative.
I agree. Well said. All right, that's our AEW. Tomorrow we're going to be back. We're going to do WWE, and we're going to do it right. Maybe we should always do Saturdays. No, we're going to do straight Monday Night Raw, NXT, and SmackDown the whole week. 1, 2, 3. We're not going to go SmackDown.
New Year's knockout week.
The whole New Year's knockout week. I'm excited for it. I've seen Raw and NXT. I'm going to watch SmackDown as soon as I'm done with this because remember, it's on right now for me. I get it so late. So I can't wait to watch it. I'm excited. I can't wait for it to do it tomorrow. We'll have some more New Year's resolutions for WWE, which is going to be keep doing what you do, WWE, because you're perfect. Just kidding. I'm not a WWE mark. I'll have all sorts of things to work on. I got a ton of things I got to work on. That's right, Triple H. You hear me. You always watch. But anyway.
He's watching right now.
Oh, heck yeah. So does TK. They all do. Triple H admitted that he watches everybody. Low, highs. He checks out anywhere says WWE, he's watching you. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you. But anyway, keep tuning into us. Keep subscribing. Keep doing your damn thing. You keep blowing us up. Every time I look on our YouTube, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. My YouTube is getting bigger. Your TikTok's getting bigger. Our TikToks, we're doing it all. Let's keep doing it. We're going to keep 2024 is our year, baby. We're going to blow up Two Dudes with Attitudes.
We're going to take every championship out there. Yeah.
Yes, we are. Let's go. Anyway, I'm always the Heartbreak Dude, the dude of Wrestle Talk at HBD Denton. And with me, as always,
it's Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. I'm just a dude who enjoys professional wrestling. And yeah, we criticize AEW, but we enjoy it together. And
you love it.
Yeah, we do love it. And it's a reminder for everyone to enjoy professional wrestling. And we're on TikTok at Two Dudes with Attitudes, and we're on X at Two Dudes PC. So go follow us there. PC stands for podcast. The character limit won't let me do Two Dudes with Attitudes or Two Dudes podcast or anything. So Two Dudes PC. So go follow us there. We're almost at 100 followers there. So we're
dude, you're blowing it up. I know.
Yeah, we're blowing it up over there. So
That's why I'm
Yeah.
HBD Denton, by the way, because it wouldn't fit enough. One of
Yeah.
them wouldn't do Heartbreak Dude Denton, so I couldn't do it. I wanted the same name. So yeah.
I'm working on creating my own X, and Ryan Enjoys Wrestling is too many characters, so I'm gonna have to do like RE Wrestling or something. But yeah, it's not gonna be the same. But yeah, not gonna. It's gonna hit different. But it's character limit with Elon Musk running the show now. So, but yeah. All right, y'all.
All right, let's
we'll be
go.
back tomorrow.
We'll back. We out.
Let's go.
Hold on.
It's the two dudes
There
and
we
our
go.
attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking. So let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton. They hit it.